Hey everyone, this is Blenderman911 and this is part 2 on how to make a random life bar for your Blender game. In the last part we finished making this, so you should have something that looks like this. In this part we're going to be animating the life and the mana so that we could take life and mana away and add it. First thing you're going to do is go to frame 100. Now select your life plane and hold shift. Right click your mana plane, hit I, scale, go back to frame 1, with your life plane selected, hit SY, scale it on the Y axis, and just bring it all the way down until you can't see it anymore. And hit I, scale, do the same thing with the mana, scale it until you can't see it, and hit I, scale. So at frame 1 you will have no life and no mana, and at frame 100 your mana and your life will be full. And it should look something like this. Now if I were to hit P to play, you can see that the life display thing disappears. If yours does that also, to fix it, just select it, hit tab to go into edit mode, and A to select all the faces. Now hit Control N and recalculate normals to outside. Now if I hit P again, you can see that we can now see the faces and it doesn't disappear. I'm just going to add a material to this and make it a color so we could see it a bit better. Now with your life plane selected, go to the Logics tab, add two properties, change them both to integer. First one, name it life max, and the second one, name it life. Now you have to name them this or else it won't work. Change them both to 100. Life max is the max amount of life that you have, which is 100, and life is going to be what your life is currently at. Now add a sensor and a controller. Select true level triggering on the always sensor and change this one to Python. We're going to have to add a little bit of scripting, so in the more info section I'm going to add a link to a file that you have to save and download, and in that link there will be this. I would put it directly into the description, but YouTube doesn't let me put the greater than symbol, so I can't for some reason. So download that file and open it. Go to the part that says first part life script, highlight the stuff under it and hit Control C to copy. Back into Blender, hover your mouse over here until you have the double-sided arrow, middle mouse button, split area, and go to the text editor. Now click here, add new, hit Control V to paste it. Now go down here to where it says TX. This is the name of the script. Just rename it something. I'm going to name it life. Now go back to your controller and where it says script, type in the name of your Python script, which is life. Now add another controller and an actuator. Connect the controller to the always sensor and this one to here. Change it from motion to IPO. Change it from play to property, and in property put in %. Now I'm going to add another sensor controller actuator, and I'm going to make it so that when we hit a key on the keyboard it will add life and subtract life. So go ahead and do that. Add a sensor controller actuator. Change it from always to keyboard. The key is going to be W. Change it from motion to property. Add property name is life. Value 10. So when we hit the W key, it's going to add a value of 10 to our property life. Now add another sensor controller actuator, and we're going to make it to subtract life. Change it to keyboard. Key is S key. Same thing, change it to property. Add property life. This time value -10. Now go over here and select these. This is so that it prints the debug info onto the screen when you hit P to play. Basically what that does is it will show these properties on here so that you can see what's going on. Also, you have to go to Game and select Show Debug Properties. Alright, now if I hit P to play, and if I hit the W and S keys, you can see that it adds and subtracts life. And my property life is going up or down. Right now it's at 60, now at 50. But you can see if I keep hitting the W key, it will go over 100. And if I go all the way down, hitting the S key, my property life will go below 0. And we don't want that. We don't want it to go over 100 or below 0. To fix that, we just need to put a second part to our life script. So go back to the scripting. Go to where it says second part life script. Highlight that. Hit Control C to copy. Go back to Blender and your text editor. Put your cursor at the end of life max and hit enter twice. Now hit Control V to paste. And if you go back here and hit P to play, you'll see that right now I'm hitting the W key and property life isn't going over 100, and it's also not going below 0. Now we just have to do the same thing with the mana, and instead of adding all the sensor controller actuators to the mana, we're just going to copy them from the life. So select your mana bar, hold shift, right click your health bar, hit Control C, and we're going to copy logic bricks. Now if you go on your mana, you can see that they're copied here. We just need to change some of these around. First thing we're going to do is add 2 properties. Do the same thing as with the life. Change them to integers. And the names, we have to change them. This one's going to be mana max. And this one's going to be mana. Same thing, change them both to 100. Now we have to put in the script for the mana. So go back to the file. Go to mana script and highlight everything, hit Control C. Go back to the text editor, add new, Control V to paste, and name it something. I'm going to name it mana. Go back here and change the Python script from life to whatever you put in here. Mine is mana. And we also had to change the properties. Property, put in this one, mana, on both of them, and we also had to change the arrow keys. To add 10 mana, I'm going to put the D key, and to subtract 10 mana, I'm going to put the A key. Let me bring this down. Now hit P to play, and we have our mana. If I hit the A and D keys, it will add and subtract mana. If I keep hitting D, it won't go over 100 and it won't go below 0. And we also have the life, which doesn't go below 0 or over 100. So this is going to be the end of part 2. In part 3, we're going to add the percentage to the life and the fraction to the mana. So that will be in part 3.